Welcome back to the Black Jersey guys, it's your boy Max hosting the channel, and today's video is going to be a Kiwi, myself, reacting to South Africa's squad for the British and Irish Lions series. They've got a new coach named Jacques Nienaber, while Rassie Erasmus is going to be the director of rugby. The guys haven't named a ridiculous amount of inexperienced players, and I believe 28 of the 31-man squad from the World Cup in 2019 have come back into the squad. They've got a recall, and they're ready to rock. Beast Mtawarira is the only player from the starting 15 against England in the final that is not in this squad, as he is now retired, and it's looking like it's going to be a very, very good series. I'm so excited, so let's jump right into the squad. So the first hooker is a man by the name of Joseph Dweeba. He's a former Cheetahs player, now playing in Bordeaux. He's got an eye for the try line, and he looks to be a very good impact player. Then from the World Cup final, you have the starting hooker Bongi Mbonambi, who is now in the twilight of his career. He's a very good line-out thrower, a rock-solid player who you can really rely on. Malcolm Marx has been world-class for several years as well, and is a great backup for Mbonambi. I don't see anything changing with those two. And the fourth lock is Skara Ntubeni, who I don't think has the best attitude when it comes to support for the fans. But hey, the guy seems to have grown up a bit from that, as shown by the time when he gave his jersey to this ball boy who he had to go at. We then move on to the props. Thomas du Toit, Stephen Kitsoff, Vincent Koch, Frans Malherbe, Ox Enche, Trevor Enyakani, and Koenie Oosthuizen are all world-class scrummagers. Oosthuizen's had several injuries. He was world-class a few years ago, and it's really good to have that guy back. Kitsoff is the captain for the Stormers right now. I highly rate him too. I think he's world-class. Thomas du Toit's a massive 26-year-old. He's a big boy, so I'm happy to see him there. Vincent Koch has won a lot of titles with Saracens. He just had a ball of a time in 2019 with all those trophies he was winning. We've then got Frans Malherbe, who is perhaps not the skinniest player in the squad, but boy can he scrum. Ox Enche has played one test, so it's good to see that guy get a recall. He played his first test all the way back in 2018, and he's only 5'8", so he's not the biggest prop going around. You've then got Enyakani closing out the props, and I think Enyakani is a real team man who's always going to lay his body on the line for the guys behind him. You've then got the locks, so we're going to move on to Reinhard Elstad, who currently plays for Toulouse, and he's a former Stormer. The guy's 6'6", and when he debuted against Australia in 2019, he was 29 years old, so it's good to have this guy getting a recall at 31. They're obviously really looking for experience in their engine room, as proven by the fact that Lou Diaga is back, despite him not having the best body and the fact that he gets injured quite a lot, including a dislocated shoulder in the World Cup final. Eben Etzebeth is the next lock. That guy is world class. He's excellent. He's just been a monster for South Africa for nearly 10 years. He was 20 when he debuted. He was their captain in 2017 when Warren Whiteley was out. I think Eben Etzebeth is one of the best players the country has ever produced. I'd even take the guy over Victor Matfield. He's just an enforcer. He's not only got the size, but he knows how to use it. We've then got Nico Janse van Rensburg, who has played 100 games for Montpellier in France. He's a very focused defender, I think, this guy, and he's a very athletic lock. He's 27 years old, and I'm thinking he's possibly a South African answer to Samuel Whitelock. Franco Mostert is another lock who I think could be compared to Sam Whitelock rather, and Franco Mostert is just a workhorse, man. He's tireless. He never ever gives up. He just keeps on going. He is just the epitome of a team, man. I love watching this guy play, and it's awesome to have him in there. You've then got Marvin Aurier in there. He's a reliable character, and he's a reliable carrier too. But, man, he's perhaps the furthest down the pecking order of the locks, because he just isn't the most potent player, And he's not the guy that you're really going to rely on when it's crunch time, is he? If he's ever starting in a match, just make sure to sub him off with about 20 minutes to go. Closing out the locks, we now have RG Snyman, who is the tallest player in the squad at 6'9", 206 centimeters, and I vehemently disagree with Snyman being in the squad because I think it's a huge lack for player welfare. For his debut with Munster last year, he tore his ACL in the first half. He's then gone under the knife for a second time because of the injury. So why on earth are you bringing him into the squad? Having Snyman in there seems less like having the best players and more like the best way to disregard player welfare. I hope the guy doesn't play, because rushing him all the way back from a club debut to playing one of the biggest tests in his life, are you kidding me, man? Anyway, moving on to the loose forwards, Dan and Jean-Luc Dupré from the Sale Sharks have earned recalls. I rate the twin brothers highly. I think they're just huge, big monsters, and I'd hate to ever play against those guys. Peter Steph du Toit's also another one that's come back from injury. He had quite a bit of a freak accident last year, and I think less than 100 people have had that leg injury that he had, and he nearly had it amputated, so I'm quite happy that the former World Player of the Year has made his way back. He's going to be somewhat of a rogue element in that defensive line again, and I'm telling you now, he's going to have quite a bit of a matchup with Talupi Faletau and Tide Burn. We then have Quagga Smith, who is a World Cup winner. He's also a former Sevens player, and I think he's definitely punching above his weight. Sia Khaleesi has once again been named captain, and I'm not surprised to see that because Khaleesi's had quite a big impact in South Africa, and I think the man's very influential to all of the Bok fans out there, and he really has a great story that proves that no matter where you come from, you can get anywhere in life as long as you work hard for it. You've then got a guy called Jasper Weise. I actually haven't heard of this player. He's 25 years old, and I will check him out after the video. I'm curious about how he's got himself into the team, and I'm really intrigued to see how good this guy is. Duane Vermeulen is the number 8 as well. He was man of the match in the World Cup final 2 years ago, and so I'm happy he's going to have one last push and going to have that Lions tour underneath his belt. This will be the second Lions tour he's played against, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a really good farewell for him and his possible retirement after the tour, as I believe he's 35 years old. We're then going to move into the 9s. Faf de Klerk is very influential, and his game's improved hugely since 2016 when he wasn't very good. Faf de Klerk was nominated for Player of the Year in 2018, and he's just a very good scrum half at annoying the opposition. Herschel Jantjies is then a very different player to de Klerk. He's a real snippy halfback, and he's always looking to run the ball himself off the base of the ruck. You've then got Cobus Reinach, whose father is a former Springbok. I think Reinach is possibly one of the fastest 9s running out there in the world. I really enjoyed him getting that hat-trick in the 2019 World Cup, and he's so fun to watch. I love Cobus Reinach, man. You've then got a scrum half called Sanele Nohamba. He's a goal-kicking 9, and he can really pick his support lines. He's an aggressive runner. Then when you get to the 10s, you've got the other Jantjies. Elton Jantjies is possibly not a player I would ever pick if I was a coach. I think the guy's quite error-prone, but it's okay because Handré Pollard remains world-class to this day, even though he has had his fair share of injury troubles across his career. Morné Steyn has now also got a recall at 36 years old. He last played a test in 2016 when he scored all of his team's points against New Zealand when we got 57 points against them for the first time in 2 years. I think he's a very reliable goal kicker, and he's one of the highest point scorers of all time, so it's going to be really nice for the team to have this guy back. He's been having quite a consistent season so far this year. You've then got the centres. So Lucanio Arm and Damien Dialende are quite a good combo, and they worked very well together in the World Cup last time. Lucanio Arm's a real leader, whereas Damien Dialende is a real tackle buster for Munster, and no matter what club he goes to, he's always a patriot for his country. We've then got Jesse Kriel back in the mix after he was injured at the World Cup. This guy's shredded, and man, a fatty like me just really wishes that we could have a body like this guy. He's a great impact player. He can play wing as well, and he's definitely the better out of the Kriel brothers. Oh, this guy's world class. I love the way he attacks, and he's just so fun to watch, that Jesse Creel. The new centre is called Wandisile Similani. He's a young rookie for the Lions, and he looks very promising on attack. The guy's 23 years old, so that's a really good age to debut, and it's cool that they've sussed a young rookie to come and play behind and behind Creel. You've then got Francois Stein ending out the centres. He's a real utility back. He played in the previous Lions tour as well, where he made a kick from over 50 metres. This guy is a huge back. He looks like a prop, but man is he fun to watch. His boot's just beautiful. He's a great passer of the ball. He's also been known in the past to have quite a lot of pace. We're then moving to the outside backs, which is very exciting. Makazole Mapimpi's such an old outside back, yet he's still playing so well. He was the first ever try scorer for a South African in a World Cup final, and the guy's got a really high try scoring rate. Cheslin Kolbe is going to be their other winger, I'd say. Cheslin Kolbe probably could have won World Player of the Year last year, and unless you're Richie Mwanga, this guy's just borderline undefendable. He's probably the most agile player in the world, I'd go as far as saying. You've then got Spoo Nkosi, who is a backup to these guys. He's a very young guy with a lot of promise, and I think he could become a real threat for South Africa as the years go on. Just hopefully he gets more game time before he's 27, because he is 25 now. He's played 11 tests though, so he's firmly in the mix for a spot in those tests. You've then got a guy called Yao Penxe. I haven't heard of this player either. Sorry guys, I will check out his highlight reels after this video though, okay? But it's good to see another young guy getting in there, and I'm really happy for him too. You've then got Roscoe Speckman. This guy has pace. He's 32 years old and he's never played a test. It is well worth it rather, because he's made so many highlight reels out of his sevens career, and I'm happy that this guy is going to give 15s a go. Maybe he could be a good impact player, I think. You've then got Afili Fasi, sorry. This guy I think would have made his debut for the Springboks last year if it wasn't for the pandemic. I think this guy is very, very athletic. He's got a good try scoring rate, and I'm happy to see him finally make the Springboks. We're then on to two very experienced players. Damian Willems is only 23, but he's already played 6 tests, and he's been playing professional rugby for a very long time. And Willie LaRue is the last member of the squad. He's been playing for Toyota Verblitz as of late, but I think there's still fire left in him to give his last 3 tests his all, and it would be really awesome to see Willems take that fullback jersey off LaRue after this all ends, because I'm hoping that these selectors are going to pick some real experienced players for the Lions tests. Like, the South African squad hasn't really had the chance to assemble since 2019, so I think a plan that they're going to use is they're going to go for experience now, then after the Lions tour's over, they'll start to experiment a bit more with new jerseys. I think the starting 15 is going to be somewhat similar to the World Cup final against England, and they'll use this South Africa 15, kind of this B team, as a tester for the overseas players who haven't played in South Africa for a long time, and that'll be a good test run for them, as they possibly won't get as much game time in the test series as other players. I'm very, very excited for the test series. I can't wait. I think South Africa's going to have a real good go at the Lions, but I do think the Lions are going to win 2-0. That's it. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. Make sure to scroll down, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for the support. Follow me on Instagram too, and I'll see you later.